What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. It's your girl Becca from the Guys Podcast, and I am joined with my friend Latoya. This was a last minute thing, so thank you so much, hon, for joining on. I
You're
want to
welcome.
first shout out Facebook Live, YouTube, Zingo TV. We have Blackjack TV, Twitter, iHeartRadio. We want to give a shout out to all you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am going to start first. What's up, Brandy? What's up, Hyson? Thank you so much for tuning in. So, Toya,
Hey.
I'm not sure if you watch reality TV. Are you hip to Love and Hip Hop, Miami or LA or any Atlanta? Do you watch any of them?
I used to, but I am not super big on reality TV anymore.
Well, that's my guilty pleasure. And there was a topic that has been discussed, and not only there, but other places that I've seen as well. And I felt it was a need for us to have a real discussion about it. And it basically talks about something that we all fight to deal with. This is something that I don't know if we're taught. I don't know if we just learn this by society standards or if we take heed to it at all. But tonight's title of the show is The Myth of the Strong Black Woman.
Ooh.
Now, when you hear this, strong Black woman, what's the first thing that you think of?
Angela Bassett. No.
When she had the clothes on fire in the car, and
Okay, wait until
like,
they tell this.
You can't burn garbage in your yard. She was like,
it is trash.
Right.
Okay. No. Yeah, I think so. When I think of the strong Black woman, you think about so like socially, who are the strong Black women in your life. Like, let's just take it from like not a social media or not a not a reality TV thing. Like, just think, let's like put it on a smaller scale. Like your own life. Like, who are the strong women in your family? Because obviously, we're Black. So who are the strong, like, we grow up seeing it inherently from our moms and aunts and cousins and all. So
we're gonna get into what you said, Brandy, about Brandy said, yes, honey, I'm ready for this conversation because being single and dating, I find men dislike women that are self-sufficient. Brandy, that is a whole new pod because let me tell you.
Can I come on that one too?
Prior to meeting my husband, that was an issue for me too. I think men do not know how to handle a woman that got her own $40.
Yeah, I got more than $40.
She got her own $40. They don't know what to do. They're a little bit
$40 me. That $40 ain't gonna move me.
So, Brandy, that's a whole mouthful. I truly understand that. But there was something, the first thing that I thought of, and those that know me, or those that know me best, know I try to think logically first before emotionally, because I know that sometimes those knee-jerk reactions, those emotional reactions sometimes are not the best ones.
You're a Libra, right?
I'm a Libra. So yes, the scales, they be all over the place.
Be tipping. I get it. I'm a Gemini, so I'm reactive.
Okay, right. And you could get the left reaction or the right reaction.
Choose which one. Pick your player.
Right. With Geminis, I know that it's usually I'm on whatever you on. So
yeah, like you decide how we gonna act.
Yes. So I understand that part. I do get that. But what I've learned is that as I've gotten older, I've understood the strong Black woman title to sometimes work in reverse. Like this is one of the reasons why I wanted to discuss this, and I titled it The Myth of the Strong Black Woman, is because there are a lot of myths about women, Black women who profess that they are strong Black women, right? There are usually times where you'll see a woman speak about this in defense of herself or to promote herself, right? So in defense of herself, it's more so like someone is negating her existence and her ability to maneuver in the world. So she has to tell you that she's able to do it. And the way that she does that is by telling you, I'm a strong Black woman.
And I don't need nobody.
And I don't need no, right. So that's one of the ways that they, that Black women usually profess that they are able to do whatever, whenever, however, and they don't need nobody. Right. So that's the time of defending themselves. When they're promoting themselves is when it's more so, I wouldn't say a competition, but there's a stance that they want to take, that they're above other people. So they say, I'm a strong Black woman. And when you ask most Black women to
describe themselves, yeah,
that's what they say. They'll say a whole bunch of stuff. Trey, I'm a strong Black woman equals I'm a grown ass man. Trey, don't start this. I'll send you this link. I'll get you on here. Don't start it.
Trey, you might want to start this. I kind of want to hear what.
Okay, I know. And listen, Trey is the homie. Trey has been on a few shows. And always him and his lady Sam always come through with great commentary. Thank you so much, Tayson. Great topic and discussion. I appreciate that. Brandy is saying, I am learning how to tap into my feminine energy and allow the man to fully operate in his masculine.
Yes. Listen,
the strong Black man, that's a whole nother.
Shout out to our strong Black
pie. Because there are.
The funny thing about it is like my perception is, are we really strong, or are we just saying that to reassure ourselves?
Right. Like, who are you trying to convince?
Like, who are you trying to convince? Like, the world or yourself, sis? Like, did you need to have a pep talk with yourself? Because I find that that's like a thing where like a lot of Black women will consistently say, I'm a strong Black woman. I'm a strong Black woman. Oh, I don't need you because I'm a strong Black. Okay, cool. Yep. But are you saying that so many times? Like, I went to school for psychology. Well, one of my degrees is in psychology. So is that coming from, a whole internal struggle that you're having, or that you just need to have a little pep talk with yourself to remind yourself of what it is that you need to be doing out here? But I feel those two ways that we do use that.
Right. And what do you, when you hear women say that, right? Does it come from, do you look at it as a stance of, okay, she's doing it, she's a boss, she's, making lemonade or whatever? Or do you look at it as if, like, sis, who you trying to prove yourself to?
I would say probably the latter. Okay. That you say it so some women say it so much as a defense mechanism, as a term of reassurance. Like, if somebody, I'm a single mom, so my daughter's 12. I've had so many.
She's mad fly, by the way. Huh? Haven's mad fly. I just want to say that.
She's pretty fly. She got it from my mama.
Okay. I believe it.
Thank you. I've had so many people over my life tell me, you're so strong, like you're so strong. And the myth of the strong Black woman, in my perspective, is I want to tell them, do you think that I had a choice? Do you think? We're going to just get into it. Do you think a Black woman has a choice other than to show up and show the fuck out? Because let's unpack it on many levels. So let's talk about it in a sense of family dynamic, right? Women held the household down. The men back in the day, men go to work, make the money. You're the breadwinner. You're the head of the table. Women hold the house down. We raise the kids, make sure everything with the kids got their homework done, clean, cooking, making sure our man is taken care of, like the whole 9 yards, right? And also in the capacity when you think about things that, your grandparents may have gone through, your aunts, uncles, their husbands wasn't that faithful to them. So You see
Their
all
other
these other
they
kids.
had other families.
You see all these other kids
And
running
you won't
around
see
the
them until
school
the
with your
funeral
kid's face, your
until
husband's
somebody
face.
die. You like, wait, that's grandpa other family? Like,
Okay,
oh,
you finding out, you find out the family secrets when
right.
you
You
get
like, where
older.
these cousins come from? Your grandfather?
Right. Okay. So insert the strong black woman. Because you have to endure strength in class and suffering silence and still maintain the class and dignity. This goes all the way back to when we was, trying to just get a piece of the pie.
Trey said that. Trey said most of the times I've heard I'm a strong black woman has been declaration of being a
Yes.
survivor of trauma. We'll get
Yeah.
to that, Trey. Trey, did you
Trey.
read my notes? Did you read my notes, Trey? I'm gonna get Trey. I'm gonna get him in a minute.
I like Trey. Come on,
Trey
let's
been in
start
my
on the
phone
next
looking at my
podcast with him.
notes.
But yeah, it's like, so you don't have a choice. So it is some sort of trauma. It is some sort of like you're surviving some sort of trauma, and everybody says the strong black woman as a compliment. I don't see that as a compliment at 34 years old and 100 and something hours of therapy later, because I had to recover from things that my mother went through, that I was subject to as a child, things that I went through when I was dating and young and didn't know any better, so that my now 12-year-old does not have to like break those generational curses. I'm going to break them for her so that she doesn't have to do that. So that she doesn't have to say it as a declaration, I'm a strong black woman. I want her to be a healed black woman. I want her to be a prosperous black woman. Yes, you're going to be inherently strong because you seen your mama get out here and get it how you live. You see me go run this 9 to 5 with the corporate thug. You see me climbing the corporate ladder. You see me out here running a business. You see me starting other businesses. You see me having healthy relationships with my friends. And let's
not act like running a household is not
easy.
It's like running
it's
a business. Right. Running a household is just like running a business. You have to figure out what role each person in that house has. If the man's role is to go out and get the money, the woman's role is to manage the money. And then when children come into play, then she has to manage the money, the house, and the children. And then as the children get older, all the things that are different, that are necessary for the different stages of that child's life, she has to also manage, as well as herself, and making sure that the husband is not mentally bombarded with stuff around the house. If that is her position, that the man is handling the finances and making sure that there's money, because the scriptures say money is a defense. So money is needed to run your household. So if that is the man's job, and the woman's job is to turn that money into functionality in the home, then those are the different.
Manage the money, to be a good steward of the money.
The steward of the money. Then those are just like running a business.
Right. I agree. And then, like I was saying, okay, you fast forward, it's the 70s, the 80s, the crack epidemic, the breakdown of the black family occurs. So then you're starting to see more single moms, more, more women raising families on their own, having to be the head and the steward of the money, having, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, it's a lot of layers to it, to being a strong black woman. And again,
hold on, before you continue, I see Portia in the background. Thumbs up if you're ready to come on screen.
Hey,
I can see you, Portia. Okay, so I'm gonna add her to the stream. Hey, Portia, thank you so much for joining us. Hello. Is this something above your camera, right above your head? Is there something? There we go.
That's better.
Yes, we did see that bun flourish on top of your head. Thank you, Portia, for joining. I appreciate it. Before you finish your comment, Toya, I want to put up something that Sam is another one who always comes in the comments and be dropping the knowledge. She said, I've always seen the strong black woman as a condemnation. Black women are expected to be tougher, louder, more persistent than their white counterparts because they had to work twice as hard as white women to be considered half as much.
A word.
Yes. Sam is always good with the commentary. Trey mentions also, I've also heard it as an excuse as why she chose certain paths. Example, why did you get married? Why didn't you have kids? Why didn't you prosper at work? Because I'm a strong black woman and they didn't know how to handle me. I've actually heard that as well.
Yeah,
So
why you got fired? Why you get fired? Oh, because
that
I'm a strong
listen,
black woman.
I have said it more than once. That corporate lingo, I am not good at corporate politics. I'm not good at it
Oh, I'm
at
so good
all.
at it. Like I love it, but you will not hit me with your microaggressions around here
You
because
definitely will not.
I will get you together real fast. Like my boss laughs at me often about the emails that I send out.
Right. So Portia, we were talking about when you hear a woman say, "I'm a strong black woman," what is the first thing that you think of when you hear a woman
Boss.
say that? Boss? Okay.
Mm.
And why boss?
Um,
Why is that the first thing that comes to mind?
it can be a boss in your home. It can be a boss at a job, boss in your career, because you have carried a lot of weight through the world, and now you able to call yourself boss. So
Okay.
we automatically are strong through our ancestors. So I feel like it's already in our blood.
Okay. So you feel being a strong black woman is hereditary.
I do.
So what is it that we saw from generations before us that made us feel being a strong black woman was the default?
I went to a gala last night, and I saying this because it was a story. The guest speaker said this. Um, she said that she came from a poor household, but however, as kids, her and her siblings didn't know they were poor because her mom held it down, working 2 or 3 jobs. They never went without, and she didn't realize they were poor until she became an adult. So we always, yeah, like right. So we saw our parents hustling, bustling, and so we would not go without as our, classmates and everything else in life. So that's what we saw growing up, especially from my grandma to my mom to my great grandma, everyone. Because I saw my great grandma living.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
So were there any men in the picture as well for those
My,
women?
my grandpa,
Okay.
but not my dad. He was around, but I didn't see him, his duties in the household.
Hmm.
So, I mean,
So to not to get too personal, you were raised by a single mother.
yes.
Okay. So what you saw coming up as far as your mom making it happen for you, you automatically saw it as a default. Like that's the
Yeah.
norm for you. That was the norm
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. Get it by any means necessary.
And Toya, what about you? Same situation or no?
So predominantly, yes, I had both my parents in my life, but I lived with my mom majority of the time. There was a few years that I did live with my dad, just intermittently, but for the most part, I was raised by a single mom.
Okay. And see, for me, it's different. Um, I wasn't. I was raised with a two
A
parent
two parent.
household.
Oh, you was a two parent baby. Now I'm
I
kidding.
know, right? Like the nerve of my
I
parents.
You
had, the funny thing is that I might not have had both my parents in the household, but I
Mhm.
had both my parents. Like my father was amazing, but me and you talk about that all the time. So I can't say like, oh, I saw his duties around the house because I still saw my dad cooking, cleaning. Like that's who taught me how to cook. That's who taught me like what my routine should be in the morning to do, like to get ready. It was my father.
Mhm.
How to get ready. Like what like you're not the only, his thing was, you're not the only person in this house that needs to get ready. I need you to go in the bathroom, do everything you need to do in the bathroom at one time and bring your behind out of there. You can't be going in and
Right.
out, in and out. So I didn't, so it's like, the dynamic for me, I can't really say, oh, I was raised by a single mom because I had both my parents. They just were not in the same household.
Okay. So the majority. So you would not say the majority of your upbringing was just with your mom and periodically with your dad. You would say that it was pretty even.
It was pretty even, and we had my upbringing is very different. I had a village. My
Mhm.
mother was there, but my parents growing up, both my parents were like on drugs. They were functioning. My dad was always a functioning addict for like literally his whole life, so it never stopped him from being present and
Mhm.
providing and doing what he
Mhm.
needed to do. But that's why I say my upbringing was a little different. I had, you know, my god sister, her family. You know, I lived with them, my grandparents, my aunts. Like it was a village. My brother,
Yeah.
like, you know, I had a village, so I can't say, oh, I was, so my upbringing was a little different, but you know, both sides of my families made it happen.
Was your village predominantly women?
Yes.
What
Yes.
about you, Portia? I see you nodding. I see you nodding. You have the same experience?
Yeah, my mom had 4 sisters, 1 brother. Yep. And I was in the house with a majority of them. And it was only 2 me and my grandpa and my uncle.
Gotcha. See, my
And that,
dad had one, two, like my dad has like 5 or 6 brothers. My mom has you know, she had one brother, and then I was older and realized that we had another uncle that what I was talking about. Had another
right.
uncle. And then when I was older, you know, like my brother's friends became my bros. Then it was like my older, like then we have, it's only like in my generation of cousins, it's not very many girls, it's all boys. So then I have my older cousins like giving me the game, you know, that kind of thing. So I just say it was very even.
Okay. And so my family is predominantly women too. What's so crazy I noticed about my family is that most of the men, you know, have died off. A lot of the people, older people in my family that are left are the women. And they're all down south. So I have heard that that happens a lot where because the older understanding is the men went to work, the women were home, right? So most of the time, because of the men going out to work and doing all of that, they died quicker than the women because the women was just home. It has a lot to do with the things of the body and just being out, being able to go out every day, and the mom having a different set of experiences at home versus having to deal with the stress of having to go to work and still deal with that. So a lot of the times I've noticed friends of mine who mention their family, they usually say, yeah, most of the men have died, and a lot of the women are still carrying the household and still
And
still
men just
living.
don't take care of themselves. Like, you know,
That could be it
black men,
also.
Yeah.
that's really what it boils down to with black men. You know, a lot of us grew up, a lot of generationally, you grew up, you know, not having a lot. So you going to the doctor was a luxury. Like, you know,
Yes.
you didn't
Yeah.
go unless you were dying.
And what's so crazy is my father's from Georgetown, South Carolina, Southern man. He grew up on chitlins and all of that stuff, right?
See?
Pork rinds and all of that. So, um, you know, the difference was my father when he came to New York and started working. Um, he's had that same job for I want to say 38 years at Con Edison in New York until he died, and he was always like, you got to have benefits. You got to go to the doctor. You got to get yourself checked out. And what's so crazy is I don't remember my father having a common cold or the sniffles or anything. Um, and then one day he just did not feel well, went to the doctor. After a couple tests, he ended up having cancer and died a year
Oh, wow.
later.
Wow. I didn't know that, Becky.
Yeah, my dad felt he felt a crook in his neck, and my dad was, late 50s, so it was like, let me go to the doctor. And it was a blood clot in his jugular vein. And then after a couple of and my father went to the doctor. He
Yeah.
went, right. It was not like how you mentioned with, unless a whole arm falls off, they'll stay home.
Yeah.
Right? They'll just stay home and be like, okay, wait, hold a second. My arm fell off. Let me go to the doctor now. Right? It wasn't like that. It was
Yeah.
very much so like, let me see what's going on. And then after a couple of tests, they checked his age and they was like, okay, let's do some more tests. And they was like, something just ain't right. And after a while, it ended up being stage 4 cancer.
Wow.
And then they gave him 12 months to live, and then he ended up dying in 11 months. But yeah, so a lot of times that happens. And now my mom is a widow. A lot of my uncles and older cousins in my family have also died, and the women are still here. So
Yeah.
a lot of times that comes from. So when Portia mentioned about seeing that, it's generational, right?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
we've seen our mothers do it. My mother's seen their mothers do it,
Yeah.
right? So our grandparents talk about the struggles all the time, and they didn't have yes, the women had those understandings of being strong Black women, but they wasn't in the streets with their fist up saying I'm a strong Black woman. They were doing it a different way. They were running the household. And then if somebody tried to play them, they were like, oh no, let's not even go there, right? It wasn't until other things started to come along, and I feel like something what Trey said. Most of the time, when women say it, it is to tell
justify.
you,
Yeah, it's to justify something. Like don't play with me.
Don't try to play me. Like I get it done, right? I get it done. And there was something I wanted to display on the screen, and let me see if you can see this. If not, that's fine. If not, I will just read it. And it says how the strong Black woman identity both helps and hurts. The stereotype of the strong Black woman is more than just a cultural trope. Many Black women in America report feeling pressure to act like superwomen, projecting themselves as strong, self-sacrificing, and free of emotion to cope with the stress of race and gender-based discrimination in their daily lives.
That's
something.
That's true.
That's something like we spoke about before in regards to professing that they're strong Black women in a way to not really talk down to somebody, but
to just kind of check them, to let them know, like, don't play with me because I do it. I run this, like,
Right. So then that goes to this topic. Where did the title strong Black woman come from? Did it come from something our generation spoke about? Because I don't remember seeing that or hearing it or even being portrayed with other generations. I feel like that really
definitely
came from
our generation.
Yeah.
For sure. You could go to Netflix right now and you can look at a category and it says strong Black leads or strong Black female leads or something.
It says, yes, strong Black leads. Yeah.
They even have an Instagram page dedicated to strong Black women, strong Black lead or whatever, the strong Black lead or something like that. I think it's an Instagram page.
Right.
Our generation and the one coming after us are very quick to label something. We like labels for some reason. If you think about the women that were coming around during the Black Panther era, they didn't run around, I'm a strong Black woman and I'm proud. They just said, I'm proud to be Black. I'm just strong. I'm Black and I'm proud.
So you don't think Angela Davis, you don't think the women that were part of the Black Panther movement, you don't think that they was out there saying I'm a strong Black woman? They didn't.
They were just strong. I'm Black and I'm proud.
Okay. And they just happened to be women.
They just happened to be women because they were whoever they needed to be. This generation uses the strong Black woman title or the myth of it to cope as a coping mechanism, as a justification for this is just how I am, or put some respect on my name type of thing. When in actuality, I don't want to be a strong Black woman all the time. I'm tired.
Girl.
Okay. And then when you say it in the sense of, even in corporate America, you have to, I have a mentor who's an SVP, dreads all the way to her behind, face beat every day. Like when I say,
it smells like oils too.
Like, yes, like just bad. Okay, let me tell you, I've never seen this woman in flats. She come into work every day strutting. She wants you to know she in the building. Her presence, she don't say nothing.
I hear that.
I was around this woman like several times. I never heard her open her mouth, but commanded a room and attention.
I hear that.
Okay. And in my monthly meetings that I have with her, because she is my corporate mentor, we talk about these things. And the first question I asked her was, how how have you achieved all that you have achieved in a company that is predominantly all
Right.
white men,
Mm-hmm.
and you have stayed true to who you are, whether that be artistically through expression of your hair. Like, she come to work with black lipstick on, blue lipstick, pink lipstick. Like, she does what she wants to do. She used to be a makeup artist, and she was like, Toya, I'm just me, baby. I know my audience. I read my room.
Hey.
She does not come in being loud and boisterous. So you don't, the misconception is that we have to be loud to be seen and loud to be heard, but you don't.
Right.
It's a misconception that you do have to be the loudest person in the room when you really don't. It's all about reading the room and adapting. And I think that even myself, because if you know me outside of work or whatever, I'm loud. I'm loud as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I'm a very reactive person. So I remember navigating my early career. Somebody would piss me off, and I would like 0 to 100. Who are you talking to? You ain't talking to me. Like, right. I don't care who you are, manager, like, manager, whoever. Like, don't talk to me crazy.
Talk to me nice.
Well, not at all. Like, so, but now that was young me. That was young me who didn't know any better. Now 34 me who is, have made some moves corporate wise and business wise. I have learned to read my room, read my audience. Mm-hmm. And it is a fact that you must be better than your white counterparts. It is a fact. You must be faster. You must be smarter. You must always be 2 steps ahead of the game. It is because the way that my mentor explained it to me is that you have to be so good they cannot ignore you. You have to be so good that when it comes time for bonus and merit, you've done your job so well that it's like, oh, make sure we take care of Toya. Make sure we take care of Rebecca when things start rolling down the hill. And you do that every day by figuring out how you're going to show up. It's all about your mental.
Yeah.
And when you can get out of your own way, because I'm a strong Black woman justifying my stinking ass attitude in here and talking to people any kind of way and doing all these things, like, you're in your own way. You're stopping your own self from being able to learn, listen, and grow. And I watched, so I'm really big on like watching like discussion panels and stuff like that. So and anybody that really knows me knows I love Sister Meghan Markle. Shout out to the Duchess of Sussex. But
we do. We've had this discussion.
I love Meghan Markle. Okay?
You love her down. Like,
I love Meghan Markle. You cannot say anything bad about Sister Meg in front of me or we're gonna have a problem. But I say that to say I watched on the New York Times Deal book. There was a discussion of bridging the gap. Mm-hmm. And it was a discussion panel between her, the editor of the New York Times, and Mellody Hobson. Mellody Hobson is the CEO of Starbucks. She's Black woman.
Yeah, we talked about that about another pod about we named some of the companies that people didn't realize were owned. They were
seeing. So Mellody is also the president of Ariel Investments. It's an investment firm out of New York, and they are a broker dealer, and they have about, I think it was like $3 billion assets under management. Okay, so basically they're the number 1 Black broker dealer in the US. Ooh. Okay, so the question was, and it's always resonates with me, the guy asked Meghan and he asked Mellody. Mm-hmm. And he made the statement because he was like, how are people like not intimidated by you? Because I feel like you just coming in here, the way you came in with your energy and everything, you had people with you and, all of that, like, that's intimidating to me. He's a white man. Now, if you don't know Meghan Markle, she's biracial. So you look at her, you really can't tell what she is, but she probably look Black, just light skin, whatever. And immediately Mellody interjects because Meghan was like, I just came in with me. Like, this is my normal energy. Like, I just walked in. What do you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Melody was like, that statement in and of itself is a problem because Black women, we always feel the need to dial it down because we have to be mindful of how we talk, how we present ourselves, and how other people perceive us. But my perception and how you perceive me, that's your problem. That's not my problem. But I also learned you have to know when to shut up and just listen. Yeah. But that's also a problem that Black women face in corporate America because you got to be the strong Black person. You got to be loud. And and I'm a very bubbly person. Like when I come in the room, like, hey, y'all, how y'all doing? Yep. You know, whatever. And I teach like when I'm training my classes, like I'm the same way, like I'm bubbly. But, you know, I noticed that the higher in the chain I've climbed, I have had to learn how to censor myself just a little bit. Mm-hmm. Everybody want to be a boss. Everybody wants to throw this boss term around, you know, right. But when you're a boss and you're a leader, you're called to serve. That means that you're the last person to eat.
Pretty much.
A strong, a mom, a Black mom in a Black household is the last person to eat. You made the husband plate first, then the kids' plates, then your plate, then you just last one to sit down and your food probably cold by then. Again, it's sacrifice. It goes back to running your household when you're dealing with corporate America, running your own business. It goes back to the same sacrifice that a Black woman makes. So then that's why when people try to play us and mishandle us, oh, I'm a strong Black woman.
Right. So Sam put something. She says it came from, talk about the title. It came from white women feminists watching the Black family be torn apart by the war on drugs and Black women raising their kids in the fallout. White women saw the fortitude Black women had and never questioned the why of it. Never questioned why are they doing that? Why do they feel that they have to be here go my husband. That's why I cook. Thank you, baby. And
shout out to Rob. Shout out to Mr. Green.
That's Mr. Green, y'all. He wants everybody to know he cooks, and I'm the one that eats. I have no problem in that. The boy burns in the kitchen, Toya. Let me tell you, he puts the two and two together. Anyway,
I'm coming over for dinner. Don't even worry about it. I'll be over. Thanks, Rob, in advance. I'll bring the wine.
Thanks. So you know that's where it really comes from. And she said, and Sam has come on many of our pods and have given the white woman's perspective on certain things, and she puts it in such a way where it's like that makes a lot of sense as to, okay, well, where does that come from? And Sam, if you can in the comments help me out with this part of the pod. Do women of other races profess to be strong? Do you hear somebody saying, I'm a strong Asian woman?
No.
I'm a strong white woman.
No. It's only us.
I'm a strong Latin woman. I'm a strong Italian woman.
Well,
right?
I think, you know, with Latin people, they Black too. Afro-Latina.
Hey, that's me. But so, you know, a lot, but I don't see women of other races do that.
Because like Trey said, it's the justification for surviving trauma. Now, I'm going to segue back into my own upbringing. So for my family is very diverse. I am fortunate enough to belong to many families that love me. And my mama hen was a white woman, God rest her soul, who raised 3 girls and took me in at the age of 18. And her family, she has been, you know, gone for a few years now, and her family is my family. Her children are my little sisters, and I would probably hurt you for hurting them faster than anybody. I seen her raise her children and struggle. Now, was her struggle the same struggle maybe that my mom had? Probably not. But she struggled. I never heard her say, I'm a strong white woman. I seen her cry. I seen her break down. I seen her, and that's where I learned. So I think Trey said it earlier, or I think it was the statement that you read that said something about being emotionally detached or without feelings.
Yes, free of emotion to cope with the stress of race and gender-based discrimination in their daily lives.
So I can honestly say, and I call her mom. My biological mom is mommy, and Lynn is mom. So
Okay.
mom, she struggled, and we would have conversations, and even with my sisters, we have conversations regarding race and things like that, and they ask questions. They've seen people be racist towards me, and I've seen people be racist towards them. So it's a little bit different, and not all white women or white people can understand unless they want to understand and they ask those questions. So some people, it goes back to with race and everything, it doesn't affect you until it affects somebody in your household. Well, I was a Black girl living with a white family. So they understood, and they wanted to understand some of the things that I struggled with as a Black person in America, because they loved me. They loved my child. They have biracial grandchildren, that kind of thing. But Black people, we are the only ones that be like, I'm a strong Black woman. I never saw her say I'm a strong white woman. I seen her break down and cry when shit got rough.
Yeah.
I never saw my mama cry. And that is right hand to God. Like, I could probably call my mom now and be like, Mom, did you ever cry when you was going through some stuff when we were growing up? I can honestly say my god sister's mom, she had, when we were younger, she had me, my brother, and my two cousins. We were all raised like brother and sister. I can't say that I remember ever seeing Nancy cry, because she was stressed the hell out raising four kids that wasn't hers, plus her own daughter and her grandchild, because her daughter had a baby when she was 15. So I never saw her, and running the whole business. I never saw her crying. Black women are the only ones that got to shut off our emotions to make it seem like we hard. We ain't dealing with it. And I was guilty. Like, I used to think that
I've been guilty of that too.
Weakness. Like, I used to really think crying was a weakness, and I would never, ever, if you saw me cry, you better get out of my way, because I am like on the 5th level of pistivity, and I am about to tear this mother down. Now, I cry just watching somebody cry on TV.
Listen, we just talked about a video we saw of someone overcoming and started crying. We was and
it's just like, we as Black women, we have to be in touch with our emotions, to teach our children how to deal, to raise our sons to be emotional men. And so they're not unemotional men that are out here continuing to scar women going forward, or so that our daughters don't think that treatment is okay. Or
that's a whole nother podcast right there. You got 3 out of this one, okay? That is a whole.
But I'm just saying, so it's like, the strong Black, that's your justification for why you get to walk around emotionless, why you get to be a bitch. I remember that there was a point in time you could call me a bitch and I wouldn't even get mad. And you know what my rebuttal would be?
Miss Bitch.
That bitch.
That bitch. Because if you're going to call me, you're going to call me by the right name. You're going to address me correctly.
Call me a bitch now. Call me a bitch right now. You're going to hate. I'm calling my brother.
So listen, so Sam wanted to give her input. White women always invoke their inner Black women when they felt they needed to portray themselves as strong. It's never a white woman calling on her own strength. From my understanding, there are no women stronger than the strong Black woman to overcome the tragedies. She used a big word. Okay, I hear that. Their family being undermined. Excuse me. That's an SAT word right there, Sam. Being undermined by racism. Right. And sexism altogether. That example of this. Ooh. You see these big words?
Resiliency that doesn't exist in white women.
Bam, she writing a whole soliloquy down there. I
know.
Look, here come there, Trey. That's my baby. Yes, that's your baby, Trey. Trey and Sam are one and the same. That's what I feel like. This is the female and male, and it's the same damn person. I agree. And Sam, thank you for saying that, because a lot of the times, it does not come across as us professing our strength as a way to show you that we have overcome certain things in the world. It always comes across as bitchy. It always comes across as we think that we're better than people, and that may be true for in a lot of cases, but most of the time, our strength doesn't come into play unless it has to, and that's because sometimes, most of the time, a good majority of the time, Black women are undermined.
Can I ask a question before you stop? I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I have a question because I see where Sam is going, but I don't necessarily agree with that. But I have a question segue into what she was saying. Is a Black woman's strength the standard? Is that the standard for what strength is my question. Because you're saying white women are displaying Black women's strength or invoking Black women's strength when they stand up for somebody or for themselves or overcome something. Is Black women, like the stuff that we've been through, is that the standard for what's defining what strength is I guess it's my question.
Well, Sam, if you know me, I'm quick to send you a link. You let me know.
I just want to.
Sam, let me know if you need the link. Sam, we could discuss this. I really would like to discuss this.
I don't want to. My thing. So here's the thing, and I'm gonna forever always be objective, because I'm gonna tell you, my white family done showed the hell up and showed the fuck out for me quicker than some of my Black family have. So I'm not gonna ever be like, oh, it's a Black thing, it's a white thing, and I never heard my mom say, oh, Lord Jesus, let me invoke the power of the Black woman so I can get through this to pay these bills today. Like, I think women are beautiful creatures. Like, look at the fact that we have babies and the amount of pain that we endure. Literally, that it medically says that we're not supposed to be able to endure that. Like, that's the closest thing you'll ever come to death. So I think women ourselves are innately, we are strength. Like, if you think about it.
Look, so much to the fact that doctors, when we say that we are in extreme pain, doctors don't believe us.
They don't believe us.
Another topic.
Yes.
Separate topic.
So that's why I'm asking, is Black women, the things that we've been through, is that the standard that most people know from strength? Because sometimes there's other friends of mine, and I feel like I have a diverse friend group, just like I have a diverse family. I don't think that I think that women are in it of ourselves. Just look at history. Look at the way women have been, the things that women have been portrayed. Yes, Black women have been unequally. We've always had unequal treatment. We have always been the bottom of the barrel. White women innately had it better back in the day than Black women did. But even if you think about it, we all still had to say, we still all needed a man to have a bank account. We all still needed a man to sign for our house. We all still needed a man for all these things. It's not like a race thing, it's a gender thing. And there's still, and that granted, even if you look at the pay gap, Black women are still at the bottom of the totem pole, but we're creeping up, and there are more Black women CEOs, more Black women SVPs and VPs, and things like that, because we out here doing the damn thing. We making it
especially during the pandemic. A lot of Black women have their own business.
Flourishing. Is it still hard? Absolutely, but I think women in and of itself are some of the strongest creatures on this planet. You can even look at countries that are women led. Let's talk about New Zealand through the pandemic. If you want to mention the pandemic, Jacinda Man did the damn thing. You got one COVID case, I'm shutting the whole goddamn country down. Look at us over here still wearing masks, looking stupid.
We look like we're the third world country.
We do. Then let's talk about in ruling of other countries and civilizations. Some of the greatest rulers of all time.
That's my best friend, y'all. People recognize the strength of Black women, but will never admit it out loud. They sure won't. Not in a room of other people. Our resilience is astounding. Come on.
I like that. That's
SAT words, ladies. Yes.
I am sick of you.
SAT words.
A beautiful thing. I believe in having conversations. Like, I like open dialogue. So I always want to ask those questions. Like, are we the standard? Because we don't have a choice.
Sam's responding. She said again, because of how white feminists twisted the origins of the strong black woman by ignoring its causes, it has become the standard of what strong women should look and act like. Idealistically, strength wouldn't be based on how much trauma you're forced to survive. But I know white women breaking far less than what black women go through. And that's true. So she's saying that although the standard of strength should not be the example of it.
It shouldn't be put on a color. Like it shouldn't be on one race. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I just had a question. I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, because I do know and have seen white people in general, but specifically white women, be allies to black women in certain aspects. Absolutely. And a lot privilege plays a big part in that. A lot of, especially lately, if you want to be progressive in your thinking and kind of understand how the world is changing, you'll have some white women say that they are starting to come around when thinking and understanding of black women and what we go through, and they're starting to realize.
But again, those are the ones that want to know, and they want to be different, and they want to speak out. and genuinely want to understand how to maneuver around, because there's a lot of white women that do not know how to manage themselves around black women. They automatically see us profess this strength and is diminishing when they really want to be an ally or just plain want to understand, right? Sometimes it's not necessarily about us having to be better than you, but because society genuinely by default always plays down the black woman, we got to do the most to just be equal, right? And it's not always fair, and it's not always necessary, because there are some times where we are better just because we're better, not because we're black. Right. We're just better, right? So I wanted to read something else about the myth of the strong black woman. This is someone who wrote this article. Says, I recently did a podcast interview about the COVID-19 and the black community, and I wrote a subsequent article about the virus and black women's vulnerability to infection. She mentioned that both made me think about the strong black woman stereotype that many black women internalize, even to the detriment of our own mental health. Black women are sexually objectified, told that we are not pretty enough, not smart enough, and not worthy enough. We face discrimination in employment, education, the judicial system, healthcare, and in our everyday lives. There is a well-documented history of the invisibility and silence of black women. We are often overlooked and unheard. You're not feeling well? Take some medicine. You'll be okay. Right? And that is where that understanding comes from, where because we profess such strength, when we don't have that strength, somebody will says, oh, you'll be all right. You'll get over it because you ain't too strong. You'll figure a way to get over it. Yeah, you maybe have a little bit of a weakness right now, but ain't you a strong black woman? You'll figure it out. And it's ignored, right? Yeah.
It's ignored to the point where you're like, wait a minute, hold up, time out, abort mission. I don't want to always have to be the strong black woman. I don't want to have to be that all the time. Just like you mentioned before, it's exhausting. Yes. Let's just make this clear without any stuttering or without any thinking of how someone's going to feel about it. Yes, we get shit done.
Because we don't have a choice.
We can get it done. Practice makes perfect. We've had no choice but to get it done, right?
I think I'm just thankful I encountered those people, those type of people that you're saying. Like I've never encountered that in my life, you know. I never have, and I'm thankful for that, because I'll probably go off. Like, did you just tell me what?
Like, excuse me? Watch me hold what they say, hold my beer. Watch me, hold on.
Hold my beer.
Watch me work. Bet I can watch me work.
It's more if any time I've been ignored when I wasn't feeling well, or I've been told to suck it up, buttercup. Or I've been told, you know, I was told by somebody that looked like me. I was told that. It wasn't from somebody that didn't look like me because they didn't have the cojones to tell me that. Like, you ain't.
Right.
When you know, when you really present yourself a certain way, people know they can't play with you. They know they can't play with you.
Yep.
I am one of those people. You cannot play with me.
Right. I know that
Okay?
for a fact.
You know.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Please don't. Please mention. Listen, don't mention anything about Meghan Markle around her. You will see it. Okay.
No,
You will
not
see
mistake, but take no shit. Do no harm, but take no shit.
Right. So let's go through some of these comments. Raven says, sometimes our own men will pull from our strength, but then act like it don't exist for ourselves.
Child, you better not say nothing. And then they, girl, listen, then you be trying to express how you feel to them. And I'm sorry you feel that way.
That frail ego will come like swifting in.
Okay.
We are taught that our strength is a negative attribute, but then it is copied as a positive attribute for someone else.
I agree.
Brandy said, because we will always figure it out, but on the back end, we really don't want to be the hero. Why can't we get help?
Oh, girl, you know what? I'm going to reply to that because one of the best lessons, Brandy, that one of my homegirls taught me, shout out to Tony. I think we were like in our early 20s. And she'd be like, Toya, don't freak out until you don't have a plan. When you don't have a plan, that's when we can start freaking out. But you got a plan, so don't freak out.
Right. You could do plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You be down to plan M. Like, we gonna figure it out.
Okay, so
we had plan W. It's gonna work out.
We don't have a choice, and it's and it became a thing where like sisterhood was new to me back then because I was the tomboy growing up. I grew up with my brother and my brother friends. Like I wear my hair in a ponytail, so it's crazy. So a lot of people that I grew up with that I'm an actual makeup artist. Like you know what I'm saying? It's crazy that they see me. They see me differently now. But I was always the person that didn't ask for help, and sisterhood became a thing for me. And when my cousin introduced me to her friend circle, and I was like, oh my God, I just love these people. And they became a support for me because I needed help and I didn't know how to ask. And they like made it okay. They would do things for me and I wouldn't even ask. They would, show up when I wouldn't even ask. And it was really hard for me to accept the help. So that's like a thing for us too. We don't know. We've had to figure it out so much on our own. We don't know how to accept the help when it comes. That was the thing.
Yeah, and then sometimes even asking for the help more than once for us even feels like nagging. Like I don't feel like nagging you. I'm just gonna like I ain't got it in me. Okay.
I just posted something today on my Instagram that said my love language is not having to ask. Cause I don't like to ask for nothing. Cause if I have to ask for it, I'm gonna just figure out a way to get it and do it on my own. Cause I don't want to ask for nothing. If I gotta ask you and I gotta ask you more than one time, whoo, Father, I'm not gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you one time, and I might ask you one more time. And I said might after, because if I gotta remind you, that means you really didn't want to do it in the first place. So we just gonna move on, and I'm gonna go find something. I'm gonna go figure it out. Why we like this?
Wow. I need a moment of silence for that. I need that to linger. Whoever's watching.
Like,
okay. Because this is, my husband said, this is a sad but true statement. I've seen it and been there. It's all about the level of honesty with yourself and willingness to change.
Talk your stuff, Mr. Green.
I know, that's why you're my husband. I did good, girl.
Yes, you did, girl. You did.
White women are infamous for modeling themselves after the strong Black woman, but do everything they could to undermine real Black women. Raven and both Brandy said they agree. Yes, they are. They're in the back cheerleading with us. So next thing, can this mentality be offensive to women of other races? Meaning, when we step into a room and we reek of strength from the Black woman's bosom.
That ain't my problem. That's your problem. How you perceive me. So you better get on the team and ask me to help you.
Air, right?
You better ask me to help you. That ain't my problem. I promise you, I ain't gonna never have I'm never gonna have a problem with offending. I hope my hustle, I hope my personality, I hope my light, I hope my shine offends the fuck out of you. If you insecure, I don't care who you are, black woman, white woman. If you that insecure, I hope my shine offends the fuck out of you, because I ain't gonna never stop. Next. See? I said I was gonna cuss. I'm sorry, friend.
Listen, I'm gonna let you flourish, queen. I'm gonna let you flourish.
Tell Facebook them don't cut me off. But
I'm bothered.
It just is what it is, and you know, and I'll even bring it back to Meghan Markle. They was mad at her because she was sending emails at 5:00 in the morning. Girl, bye. You mad? They told her to be 50% less of herself. So imagine someone telling you to be 50% less of yourself because you're offensive to someone. Like, as a person, if they told my daughter that, imagine somebody told your child that, show up as 50% because you're too good. I'm sorry. Step your game up and we wouldn't have a problem here. Be better.
You would see my husband put up a GoFundMe for my bail, okay?
Girl, because
I would be in jail.
I got a couple $100 on your bail. Okay, don't even worry about it.
I would be in jail because you can't tell. Listen, my kid Jasmine was in kindergarten, okay? And I pulled up to the school ready to fight her kindergarten teacher. Her teacher was in her 70s. The lady could be. I
believe in the way you pulled up on my post the other day about my daughter teacher. I believe.
Like, does she fight? Because we fight kids, we also fight our kids' teachers. I just wanted to know if Haven's teacher wanted to fight.
She don't want it.
You want to fight? Because we could do this.
I got my attorney handling that. It's cool. I like to see some people. You gotta get on their level because they expect for you to be ignorant, and you gotta just let them know my word game. My word game will tear your ass up. Like Rob, I got you too. I got you. So you know,
my best friend, baby, will tell you I am the one she has to warn her other friends about. First of all, she can't even have no other friends but me. That's a whole nother pod.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
My best friend has other friends, and I'm just like,
who you? Oh, you a possessive friend.
I am a very possessive friend. I'll be under the comments like, who is this?
Yeah, but I don't care. I think that's a confidence thing in myself. Like, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be who God designed me to be. And he didn't design me to be 50% less of Toya to appease Sarah or appease whoever. I'm going to be me. And either you're going to love me or you're going to hate me. And if you hate me, honey, I'm going to make sure I give you a show every day because your haters are always watching.
Tracy, if you got 10 haters in the winter, you better figure out how to get to 20 by the summer.
Okay. Look, and I went and got me a fresh blowout today to be on my Cat Williams.
Listen, if you're gonna hate me, I'm gonna give you. Listen, what did the song say? Let's give you something to talk about.
I don't care about you having a problem because that's a personal problem. Like, come join the team. Come sit down. Let me give you some pointers, and you can maybe be Pippin to my Jordan.
Right.
Sometimes, like, the crazy thing about it is my boss is a Black woman, and you know, and she is absolutely amazing. Like, love her, and she be like, I was sending some emails, you know, and she was like, "Yo, I just sent this to our AVP because I needed him to see how eloquently you just checked the hell out of this person." I said, but did you make sure that you sent him the chain with you with the alley-oop? I said, okay, and I called her Jordan. She was like, "Nah, bro, you Jordan. I'm just happy to be your Pippin."
Right, right. Because sometimes you have to do that, and I think everybody does that. My best friend Raven said, "Our whole being is offensive to those who don't know themselves. It is what it is."
Thank you, Raven. I like that girl.
Right. That's why she's my best friend. Sam said, "I wish I had a better way to phrase this, but people are always going to feel offended when Black people appear uppity. Anytime a Black woman is thriving, other women perceive them as a threat. It's not
even other women, it's other men. Like, people, it's other people. It's other people that, because it's men too. Men do not like. They be like, "Oh, we gotta put that uppity bitch in her place." Thank you, Trey. Get on the team or get out the way because we keeping it moving. I'm telling you.
Now would that happen? Yes.
So one thing that I found with the uppity, or they all, because you saw, I don't know if you saw, I put a thing on my page the other day, and I want to get into this actually about the strong Black women and the myth of it and the perception. When the offense comes from our own people, when the offense come from our men. When the offense comes because you what? Like, here's the thing. That's a problem for me. I have always been called, oh, you talk white. Why? Because I enunciate.
I was told I was proper. Somebody told me I was proper.
Nah, like, here's the thing. I've always been me, and I'm the same me that I was when I was probably 8. I'm just a little more confident because I was the chubby cheerleader, and I was, oh, you was cute for the big girl, and all of that, like those little funky backhanded comments. But it always comes from our people that say you're bougie. Like, people call my daughter bougie.
Yeah, because if she was opposite, then she would be ghetto. Like, come on, cut it out.
She's bougie because she likes nice things. She's bougie because she set expectation. She's bougie. Normalize. I say all that to say is normalize black luxury.
Normalize being bougie.
Suffer. You don't gotta suffer.
I'm about 68.7% bougie too.
Like if my daughter, if I go, like, because the thing of it is, I'm not my parents. I'm not the generation before me where you go to a restaurant and they got you eating chicken fingers and fries and they eating steak. If I'm eating steak, my daughter eating steak. She know how to go order. They look at me when we go to restaurants and I be like, look at her. Don't disrespect her. She know how to order her own food. I want a medium rare sirloin.
Please and thank you.
I want a medium rare ribeye. Like, my daughter know what's up, and they be looking at me like as to justify her order, and I be like, "That's what she ordered. That's what she want." I
believe it. Come on, come on.
Now, sometimes I had to reel her little behind in.
We all
I don't
do.
act like that. I'm still a single mom. Like, you know what I'm saying? But the thing of it is, let's just normalize like our own people. Even black men. Like I love black men. I love black love. I love what you and Rob have. I feel like my soulmate is black, and I don't want and that's just my preference. And
that's another pod. That's another pod because let me tell you something. People have looked at me crazy when I said I have not dated outside my race. I never was going to. I did
it once. I did it one time. I did it one time, and I would tell you, I think I dated that man for like 7 months, and I never had sex with him. He was white and Puerto Rican. I never had sex with him. Nope, wasn't on. No, we'll talk about that off camera. But I think that I just I want our own people to stop putting boundaries and limits on ourselves. And I used to do it and not know that I was doing it. Because I didn't want to appear higher than other people. I didn't want to dream so big that it scared other people, or people didn't understand what I was trying to do, or understand, like if you offended, I don't know what to tell you, because you're right person, or just even as another black person, you want to see other black people win.
Yeah.
Brandy said, "Me too. I am a turn on for black men because I'm self-sufficient." All right, look, let's unpack.
Brandy said she got her own $40.
I am not a $40 female.
Brandy said she got her own $40.
We got our own $40, right, Brandy? Okay.
She said, "I got Netflix, Disney Plus, Stars, and my own $40."
On phone plan. My mama on my phone plan. Don't play with me. I pay other people's bills. Don't you play with me? Nah. So okay. So what I will say as being and let's just be clear. Like, okay, so I moved out of my mother's house when I was 16 years old. I have been on my own, taking care of myself with some help, for a majority of my life, even as a young single parent. Like, I thank God for my sister. Because there would be times I'd be like, "Jamie, I ain't got no gas. Can you?" And she would meet me at the gas station and fill my car up. Never ask for no money back, whatever. But whatever. So nobody is 100% self-made, or I think I live a pretty independent lifestyle now. But what I had to learn, as far as, so there's always thing, the Bible always says we're supposed to be submissive.
Yeah.
And we all know, as independent women who don't need no man, we ain't submitting to no. And the problem, we ain't submitting if you are not giving us something to submit to, if you are not a respectable black man holding it down, going to work every day, not making me out here look stupid by philandering with all these females and all this, I'm not, and you can manage your own finances, got a little 401k, because I'd be damned if I'm GoFundMe me and if your ass drop dead today. So, because I got my own. So, if you're not out here handling business, I'm not submitting. You're not going to tell me how to do something if you can't do it yourself, if you cannot provide. Okay? If I am the head and I am the woman and I am the head and I'm making the money, I make the decisions, because I guarantee you, baby, if the shoe was on the other foot and I was a stay-at-home mom, or I made less than you and you were the man and you were the breadwinner, you're going to make the rules. Okay? Because that's just how it goes.
Sis.
But I have learned through my recent relationship, I have learned when to shut up. We have to know we are not always right. We have to listen with the intention, not with the intention to reply, but with the intention to understand. So I think, who is it? I think it was Brandy that said something about, she is trying to learn to operate in her femininity and also masculinity. See, when we feel like the strong black woman, we always got to take on the man perception. Like we still have to, there's a certain level of masculinity that we still need and display, and it be over masculine. And that is a turn off to men. Like, no, they still want a soft woman. They still want a soft woman. We could be strong and we can still take care of. Yeah, that's the quote right there. Shout out to Brandy for the quote. But I like to quote people accurately, honey.
Right.
But we have to learn how to operate in our femininity, but still don't take no shit. We still have to learn how to be assertive, direct, but not rude and bitchy. And, you know, all these, and it is really humanly possible to do all of these things.
Yeah. Trey says, does anyone consider that showing out or being prosperous and being downed by the community is more of a defensive reflex? More so from the perspective that being prosperous in the black community makes you a target from outside the community. Absolutely.
I think it makes you a target in the black community when you flourish. Look at all our entertainers and our rappers.
Right. Give me something to submit to. In fact, submission will automatically come if he is doing what he's supposed to do.
Absolutely. It'll come, it'll be second nature. And that's what, but that's one thing. But we also got to we have to be in touch with our, I'm not even gonna say that. Let me rephrase. We have to have the space to feel, to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
That is the problem. And through 180 hours of therapy, I've learned. I'm telling you, my therapists have saved so many people's lives. Like, because I used to be such an angry person. Like, I would just cuss you out and I wouldn't blink twice. Like, I had no feelings, no filter. You did not know what was going to come out of my mouth. Yeah. But it was because it was a
defense mechanism.
Yeah, it was a defense mechanism because I was so, like, not soft, but like emotional. Like, I'm so girl, yeah, girl. I've been in therapy for a few years, and I was going on like every other week basis. But it gave me the tools that I needed to break through, just like childhood traumas, feelings of not feeling good enough. Even though, you go through a lot and your parents don't realize how their decisions affect you. But I say all that to say I never got to feel supported emotionally in a relationship to be soft. I never got to feel like someone understood me so that I could be vulnerable, or they will always say, you know how people, when something happened to you, will let me know if you need anything. Well, no, I'm not going to tell you if I need anything, because if I have to ask, I don't need to be here. Like, I don't need to tell you. Like, you should be like, hey, what do you need?
And I've been that person that be like, if you need me, let me know, whatever. And that person never reached out. So I have to, constantly say, hey, you're right, you good with everything. But at some point, if I've offered my services, or if I let you know that I'm here and I'm available whenever, and they haven't actually reached out to me, then I'll stop, because one or two things could be true. They actually don't need it, or they won't openly say, I actually do need your help with this, right? So I'll ask a few times, and after that, I'll stop. And the door's open whenever you do
Right, and
need.
that's nothing. I don't think that there's
Let me know.
anything wrong with that. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think that as women, as Black women, as moms, as partners, as sisters, we have to create spaces for ourselves to be vulnerable, to be transparent. We didn't get a lot of conversation. Like, how many of us say that we sat around the table with our aunts and our moms and our grandmothers and talked about openly struggles that they've had in their relationships, how to be a wife, I remember I got engaged one time and I told him, I was like, I can't marry you. I've been a lot of things in my life, but I don't know how to be a wife.
But here's the thing. This is what I learned. You only know there's certain knowledge that you know from the outside looking in. So I come from my parents who had a healthy marriage until my dad died. My sister and my brother-in-law have been together 20. I'm gonna say
they're so cute
years or whatever.
Hey, sister.
I have had examples of
healthy relationships and healthy marriages.
Even my crackhead aunt and uncle been together forever.
I am so done.
Okay. So if I don't know nothing else, I do know it. Crackheads always got somebody, right? You know that. That's so my alcoholic, my aunt and my uncle don't smoke everything that you could put into a powder. Okay.
So done.
You can powder it and roll it into a blunt, they smoked it. Anything you can liquefy, they drunk it. Okay. And they are still together.
Well, I say that to say, because it's a conversation that me and my cousin, we have a lot. And that there's just a lot about growing up, being a woman, functioning in a healthy relationship that we did not learn, we did not see healthy. I never desired to get married when I was younger because I didn't see healthy relationships around me. Everything was like mad toxic, and everybody just swept it under the rug, and everybody acted like it was okay. Like I'm not a product of where I remember my grandparents living together under the same house. I have a couple of older cousins that remember my grandparents living in the same house, but I guarantee you they went to church every Sunday like they were still happily married, and they were not.
So then that brings me to a topic that I also had. Is the Black woman's strength connected to the pain we endure, particularly from Black men?
Absolutely.
When you hear of a woman say that she's a strong Black woman and you ask her why, she will most likely attribute that to a man.
Yeah.
She would most likely say because I've done it without a man, or I had a man around who wasn't shit. He got tossed and I did it myself, or I'll never needed a man because I could do it myself and I could be bad by myself. Right? I've seen a lot of women who profess strength in being a Black woman attribute it to how much they've had to endure from men. Right? Yeah. And it's like there are so many things that happen in a person's life outside of the mate that they are with that can add strength. Why do they always say, I am a strong Black woman because I had a man that beat me and I survived. I'm a strong Black woman because I had to raise my kids by myself because my man or my husband left. I'm a strong Black woman because I've never needed a man. I seen my mother do it without a man. So it was never in my mind to be able to do it having a man around. My default is seeing my mother do it by herself. So I know I could do it by myself. So if you are not going to at least equal match my fly or make me fly you can stay over there because I'm a strong Black woman. Right?
I think it's more because in previous generations, women equated like your validity came from a man, because a lot, like, think about our grandparents, like not even our parents, like even our great grandparents. This goes back to a woman when you got married young. You had arranged marriages. You got married young because you couldn't move out of your own parents' house without getting married. You could not go buy a house without a man. You could not get a bank account without a man because women had no rights.
And this is not that long ago.
No, it's not. This is not that long ago.
This is, maybe I'm going to look it up while you talk, but this is less than 100 years ago.
Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, God rest her soul, because she was one of the first Supreme Court justices to advocate for women to have the same rights that men have and get the same pay that men have. And that is why there's a lot of our issues deeply rooted and they're connected to a man, because men were teenagers when they were getting married. They were 17, 18, 19 years old, getting married, starting families. They were not emotionally mature. They were alcoholics. They had problems from their own child. These are generational curses.
1960 was the year that a woman was able to get her own bank account.
And I was born in 1987.
I was born in 1980. So yeah. Yeah, so that wasn't that long ago where women were able to even get their own bank account.
Right. So it's like that is why women, a lot of our self-validation comes from having or not having a man. Because what's the first thing with your smart ass auntie mouth that walk into Thanksgiving? You still ain't got no man. Why you ain't married yet? Why you ain't married? Why Uncle Larry cheating on you? Like,
right, you married and your marriage ain't nothing. What you mean? You married to the same man that cheated on you for 30 years.
Okay.
I don't want that.
Our generation is completely different when we say, I'm not going to accept this. I'm worth more. I love me enough to sit with myself, by myself, or understand that I got some stuff with me that I might need to work on before I can venture and be ready for whoever God ordains for me. Because I want a relationship and a marriage that's evenly yoked.
Mm-hmm.
Not where a man is establishing superiority over me, whether he is doing that using sex to dominate me, or using physical sheer strength to dominate me and abusing me, or using his mouth to verbally and emotionally abuse me and tear me down. So if you can't meet me here and stop being here, I'm not going to deal with you. I'm good by myself. So in that sense, I am a strong Black woman and I can be independent, but my happiness and my self-worth is not defined by a man. That's the difference in our generation versus past generations. That is going to be the difference in the daughters that you and I are raising, like with Haven and Jazzy. They're going to see the right man loving their mom. Like, look at you and Mr. Green over there. They're going to see what it's like to live in a healthy household and things like that. So they're not going to be validating their self-worth with a man, and
that is a big thing. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I need to highlight that. That is a big thing, because I've actually told my daughter this one time. She seen me and Mr. Green kiss, and she was like, "Ew," and I was like, "Jasmine, please, it's a good thing to have to see your mommy loved by somebody."
Right.
I see my mother loved by my father, right? And people and we joke about two parent household versus single mom household. We joke about that, but it's very,
it's absolutely the truth.
It is very important. But that goes for both men and women. It is very important that little girls see their mother loved by somebody. It is very important that little boys see their daddy loved, even not their mother, but just a woman. It's very important for them to see that, because that shapes their view on relationships. I have a very different view on relationships, and that they can work and that they can be successful, because I've seen it myself. Right. A lot of people that I know that have that mentality that they believe men ain't shit, women is trifling. And when I ask them in conversation, it comes out that they were raised by a single parent, and they do not know what
they never seen it.
They've never seen it. So in their mind, it either doesn't exist or it's extremely hard to get.
It's rare. Yeah.
Get it, it's going to be a lot of work to keep it. And it's like, yes, even if you don't legally get married, but you're with someone for several years,
that still work.
Things. There's still going to be things that you have to work on. My sister and my brother-in-law have been together 22 years, been married 20. You mean to tell me it's been easy those 20 years? My dad and my mom were together until my dad died. You mean to tell me that all the things that matter in a relationship never came up in them 30 plus years they've been together? You don't know what my mother had to go through to see my father be a strong, vibrant man who did things around the house. My father could build anything. As long as he had a structure, she was like, okay. My father was a handsy guy. All of a sudden, couldn't even eat a bowl of oatmeal because he threw up.
Yeah.
My daughter was 6-7 months, I think Jasmine was less than 10 pounds. My father couldn't even pick her up. That was the last time she seen. That was the only time she seen my dad. I have that one picture of my father holding Jasmine, and she's on his lap, and he just has her arm under her because she was even 6 months, 7 months was too heavy for him to pick up. This is a man that got up and went to work every single day. My father was the man. I always say my father was Obama before Obama because everywhere my dad went, he made a friend. Right? So to see somebody go from that,
a stranger.
Right, to go from that to being in hospice. You mean to tell me that they didn't go through things? My father was healthy until he got stage 4 cancer. It was like one day he was healthy, next day he was dying.
Right. I was trying to look for a quote that a friend of mine had posted on her Facebook. Her and her husband have been married for, God, I think almost like 30 years. And it was something about perseverance that she posted. And
I think a lot of the times that is where it comes from. Sometimes it may not be, it could be the words that are used might not be the right words. You know, not everybody is eloquent in their speech. They just say it out and may not know the right words to use. But ultimately, it still is the fact that there is strength that we have because of certain things that we've been through. Yes, some of those things that we've been through have to deal with men, and that is unfortunate. That deals with the breakdown of the Black family, which is again another part. Because that's where you will see most of that I'm a strong Black woman come from, right? And then just like what my best friend said, she mentioned we teach what we know until we know better.
Absolutely.
Right? Trey mentioned because the Black community for centuries have equated survival to strength, from chains to projects to yesterday, meaning that our story has to deal with
trauma
and our strength being connected to survival.
And it's rooted in your DNA. Like your trauma is passed down generational. Trauma is passed down in your DNA. It is definitely proven. So I agree with that.
He mentioned, I'm going to go through some of these comments because they've been writing while we've been talking. The community media, entertainment martyrs and leaders are judged by the strife that they have had to endure. A leader in the community isn't a real leader or worthwhile leader until they rise from poverty. The strong Black woman is no different. Single, bad by myself, I did it alone, as are seen as strong, while the women from the good home that has a doctorate had it easy because she's from a good background. Yes. My best friend said children need to see healthy love given between people. Jay said monogamy is a natural for the species. It takes discipline. And I've heard a lot of people say that.
You make a choice every day whether you want to be faithful or not.
And there's so many choices that are made every day in regards to that. And when you're dealing with the strong Black woman understanding, you attribute that to the daily things that we go through. And it's not only,
I don't want to have to suffer. I don't. Right. My thing is I say all that to say, everything that I've been through in my life, like, I tell people, don't call me a baby mama. I'm the big dog, because big dog gets it done by myself. But I don't.
No car, no man, in the house by myself.
I don't have a choice, but I don't want my story to be like, when I'm dead and gone, I don't want my legacy to be, oh, here lies Toya. She was a strong Black woman because she endured. Yes, I endured. But remember me because I was funny. Remember me because I was smart. Remember me, because of how I made people feel, the impression that I left on people. I don't want to suffer to be validated in who I am as a woman, as a mom, as a wife. It makes me a good wife because I stayed with you after you whooped my ass, or I stayed with you after you cheated on me. I don't want to suffer. Love me gently. Be gentle with me. Normalize me living in luxury or having luxury and not being in poverty. And those are the things that I'm teaching my daughter, while still letting her know you will get up every day and go to work. You will figure out what it is you want to do, because no one will give you anything. You must work and earn your way through life.
Listen, that I just quickly looked up when you said that, when on the day that I died. Have you watched Beyonce's Lemonade?
Yes.
Okay. There is a poem in Lemonade. It's called
In the
Apathy.
album.
Yes, in the visual part of it, where she's actually spitting the poetry, and there's one called Apathy. And when you spoke of that, it just reminded me. It goes, "So what are you going to say at my funeral, now that you've killed me? Here lies the body of the love of my life, whose heart I broke without a gun to my head. Here lies the mother of my children, both living and dead. Rest in peace, my true love, who I took for granted."
See? And that's
So
why you're not going to treat me any kind of way. You're not going to keep making me endure. You're not going to hurt me. You're not going to invalidate my feelings. I'm going to walk away before I let you kill me. Been there, done that.
We are more than
Toya ain't 30-something-year-old Toya.
Definitely not.
When you know, I think your best friend said, when you know better, you do better.
Listen, me and her have had this conversation almost the 30 years that we've been friends, about how many me and her have been friends since we were teenagers, in our 20s, in our 30s, and now in our 40s. We were both together when we grew breasts, had our first period, lost our sight, had lost our virginity, had children, all of that stuff. Like all of those things we've learned together, and we talk about it all the time. Like, with me and her at 14 is definitely not the same me and her as 40. And the fact that we were able to sustain our friendship during this time,
that is amazing.
Is the same, just like any relationship, friendship or romantic.
It's work.
Is going to be work, right?
Absolutely, I agree with that.
So you have to be able
to learn each other, and and be willing to get through the growing pains. Because I promise you, me and my best friend, like when we were in high school, I was the bossy friend. I told everybody what to do. I was always right. You gonna listen to me. And that's just what it's going to be. And when we started, like, I went to college, she went to cosmetology school, she had a baby, we would bump heads and fall out so bad because neither one of us was listening. I was still trying to be the bossy friend and tell her what to do. Like, you need to listen to me because I'm trying to tell you some good shit here, that kind of thing.
Right.
And it wasn't conducive to our friendship until we were a little older, and still friends, because when you love people, you love them through the mess and whatever. And we talk about it all the time now. Like, I have learned to let her come to me when she needs me. I have learned to shut up and listen and let her be her. And we've learned one another. We've had to relearn one another, and we keep having to relearn. And I'm sure there'll probably be at least 2 more times in our lifetime that we will continue to have to relearn each other. So I think that's also a thing with the strong Black woman in the myth, because your sense of, you say you don't need nobody, but it's lonely. Yeah. And you need support, whether that be your sisterhood, like your tribe, they going to sit with you in the dark and celebrate you in the light. And that's a misconception. It's very much so a myth. Like, I love my guy friends who check and correct me. Mm-hmm. My brother, like, I just got off the phone with my brother before I started this podcast, and I'm like, yo, tell me, did I do something wrong? Am I, like, he like, nah, you ain't wrong, sister, And so it's just always about, I think it's always about support. And it's very much so a misconception that you don't need anyone. There is no one on this planet. God did not put us here to be by ourselves. God put us, like, even think about it with Noah and the ark. Everybody was in pairs. Every animal was in a pair. Yeah. You need someone. We should not be here to hurt each other. We should be here to, like, support one another, whether Black woman to Black woman, Black woman to white woman. It's just woman to woman, Black man to man. And we ideally would want, to be this way, so that we can have a little bit of peace and harmony. And, my life right now, I'm all about, my peace and operating in extending grace to others and extending grace to myself for for who I used to be. Because I used to be that one hollered, I'm a strong Black woman. I don't need no, but that used to be me. Like I was mean.
So that goes to the next topic of whether is being a strong Black woman a gift or a curse? What do you think?
Both.
Okay, explain.
It is a gift because there have been situations in my life that I wasn't quite sure if I was going to survive. I didn't know how I was going to make it through, but it was because I was able to find my own inner strength. Mm-hmm. I was able to carry myself through certain situations. Being my dad, losing my father was like that was like something different. Like that was a different type of trauma for me. I didn't think I was so broken, but I knew what I was raised to be. I knew that there were other people that depended on me. I knew that I needed to keep it together to make sure my brother was good, So that's why I say, it's a gift and a curse. It's a gift because it helped me find like me and pull my bootstraps up and help me survive when I don't. But it's also a curse because we hold ourselves to a standard that we have to do it by ourselves. When in actuality, there's strength in numbers.
Mm-hmm. Straight said a double-edged sword. Positive Absolutely. Because you are a survivor, negative because you are subject to the stereotypes and prejudgments.
I like it. Very well said, Trey. I would say I must agree.
Randy said it's a gift. No, you know how to persevere.
Yeah, I'm tired. I want somebody else to help.
Listen. I'm gonna tell you something. One thing Mr. Green is teaching me, and I was never the type of girl to be like, oh, I can't wait to get married. I can't wait to get married.
No, you never, like all the years that I known you, like I never heard you like say that.
So the fact that I am married right now is like, and I met my husband the exact same way I said I would never meet a man. So God definitely had to shut me up.
Sometimes you gotta shut up and
sit down, right, and just wait till I had all this big talk. The Lord was like, wait till October 2019. I'm gonna shut you all the way up.
Show you something
all the way down. Because I met my husband the exact same way. I was never gonna meet a man, and I never intended to get married. I wasn't against it, but I definitely wasn't like, oh my God, I can't wait to have a husband. I can't wait to have kids.
You are so stupid.
It definitely was not me. It was not me. And the fact that I am married, one thing that my husband is teaching me is definitely to stop being so damn independent.
It's a hyper independence is a form of
independency is overrated.
Yo, I swear to God, my cousin told me that. My cousin Reese was like, he called me one day. He was like, this is before maybe 2 years ago. And he was like not mad at me, but he was like calling me on my shit. And he was like, cuz you a great mom. You hold it down. You do everything by yourself. He's like, I watch you do everything by yourself. Like, he's like, everything is on your back. He was like, you and your daughter, like y'all live, you live good. You make sure she's taken care of. You don't ask nobody for nothing. He was like, you deserve. He's like, I want you to settle down. He's like, I really want you to take it serious and really try to settle down. He was like, because you deserve someone to help you carry the load. And he's like, and I'm not saying that you need somebody to help you pay your bills. And he's like, that's not what I'm saying. Cause he said, I just want somebody to love you and protect you because I see you doing everything by yourself. He said, I just want somebody to handle the load. And it really warmed my heart. Cause like my cousin Reese is like, he's like my favorite cousin. And he's like cousin brother. So if something ever happens where my brother couldn't give me away at my wedding, now that my dad's gone, like Reese would be like, me and Reese going 2-step down that thing and have fun. But it's like, when the people around you and the men around you see this hyper independence thing, because it's a defense and coping mechanism, and
because we've had to be.
And that's what I told him. And I was like, Reese, I don't know another way to be.
My best friend said independency. It sucks here, someone.
I mean, it does. Like, it
Trey
does.
said,
It's lonely.
yeah. Trey said on the subject of independence, I've said this before on other pod, wolves can survive alone, but they hunt in packs for a reason.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Because you know what, Trey, my very first, like, I tell my daughter every day before she go to school, are you a wolf or are you a sheep? Every day I get her the option, are you a wolf or are you a sheep? You gonna go with the flow or you gonna run by yourself? And I just tell her that just, so she can make sure she following and setting good examples no matter what everybody else is doing. So that's like one of my little spiels that I be like going when she messing up. I be like, are you when she start, but what they told me, and I'm like, no, they told you. Who is they? Because are you a wolf or are you a sheep?
I have that same talk with Jasmine. Every time something happens in school, she always wants to blame somebody else. And I'm saying, let me tell you something. I told Jasmine, I said, I've been your mother your whole life. I'm sure you know by now. I don't give a damn about
nobody else
because what they do is their parents' problem. Let their mother figure that out. You have to come home here. You live with me, so
and you can't do what they do.
No, you cannot. And we have. And before Mr. Green, it was just me and Jasmine. And Jasmine, I saw a quote somewhere where it says single mothers and their children are being raised together.
That's accurate. That's fair.
Meaning I'm Jasmine's raising me as I'm raising her.
I agree with that because I'm gonna tell you, Raven's smart.
That single black strong black woman thing, along with the single black female, it goes along with what you said in the very beginning, is the strength that we have is kind of, it was dished to us. Like it was the lemonade that we had to make out of the lemons because we had no choice. And I remember, just like when you mentioned about your father dying, I was a new mom when my dad died. Jasmine was so I'm over here dealing with being a single mom, a new single mom, and then my dad dying. I'm in New York. My parents is here in North Carolina. I'm trying to figure out what to do with myself. I'm looking at Jasmine like, what am I going to do with you?
This whole little human.
Like, I'm supposed to be raising you, but how? Yeah. With what? Like, what am I doing? So I'm just trying to figure all of that out. And then that's where you have to kind of just say, okay, you know what? All right. Okay.
Get it together.
Okay.
Yep. Because you don't have a choice.
Right. Before I step out, what I gotta do? Okay, we got the stroller. Okay, make sure she got like 100 Pampers with me. I got a lot of wipes. Okay, got extra clothes. Okay. Now I gotta drop her off to daycare. And I gotta head to work. I gotta do this. Okay, I gotta leave work ahead of time because I'm gonna run into traffic and I gotta be home. So I remember telling my husband one time the stress that I had to go through each day. Just in one day, waking up on time, getting me and her ready, dropping her off to school, driving from Concord to South Charlotte. It took an hour to get there. From whether I took 85 or 77, it didn't matter because
I was making that home from Salisbury to South Charlotte.
And then you worked at one point in Fort Mill.
I still work in Fort Mill, but we work from home. Thank God. Look at how the Lord be
moving. So you took about an hour to work. Then right. So then whatever time that I was at work, I had to make sure that I was back to pick her up no later than 6 o'clock, which means I had to leave work no later than 5 o'clock. God forbid there was traffic and or accident. I'm already late. So now I'm on the road, helping. I'm over here trying not to get a ticket, not to go speed, not to get, not to an accident. Then I have to go pick her up. Then by that time it's late. I'm hungry. She's hungry. Then I have to I have to make sure that she eats, make sure that she changes her clothes, give her a bath. I have to figure out what the hell I went through during that day. Now it's 9 o'clock and I'm like,
I just need 5 minutes for myself. And you can't have 5 minutes because you got to wash your butt, probably eat and go to bed to wake up to do it all over again.
And that was during the time that I was also doing the improv comedy around town. Remember I was doing that?
Oh, yeah.
So forget about it. Then I had
Let
to
me ask you a question.
Since I had to figure out babysitting.
Let me ask you a question. Since you would just explain your whole day.
That's one day.
And you knew you had to wake up and do the exact same thing again, right? How depressing was that? What was the state of your mental health?
It
As
was
a mom and black
negative.
woman, what was the
It was
state of your mental health?
it was in the negative. It was in the negative. I was going crazy. You talk about running on E.
Yeah.
There was not even a gas tank in this car. I don't know what I was running on. There wasn't even a gas tank to be empty for me to run off. I have no idea. When I look back at it, I'm like,
How?
that had to be the Lord.
Yeah.
It had to be because I'm telling you, there are so many things prior to Mr. Green that I've had to endure and go through that I can't even tell you how I endured or gone through them.
That's how you know if you don't believe in God or some type of higher power, something is wrong with you because
I don't know how I've got out of situations. If somebody was to say, "How'd you
what's
get out
that
of
song?" But I had a praying grandmother.
But I had a praying.
Okay, because
and my grandmother couldn't even speak no English, so she was praying in Spanish.
Oh, hey.
And then my mother's a praying mother too. She'll send me
my mama wasn't a praying mama. I had a praying grandmama, but
listen, my mother would send me prayers through text. She would leave a voice note. One time she read something and sent it to the entire family on through Facebook Messenger. That's that is my mother, and my grandmother was like that too. And there's a lot of people in my family that are like that. So my
grandma, we know when I taught her how to text, it was over. We get a daily Bible scripture every day.
So, and this is what I try to say when you hear, like, to everyone watching, when you hear a woman say, "I'm a strong black woman," try not to automatically say, "Oh, she must be a bitch." There is a story. There is a story there. There is a story, and for those who believe a testimony, there is a reason why. Just like what Sam said earlier, people never think the why of it.
Absolutely.
Why does she have to go out there and say, "I'm a strong black woman"? Don't try and play me. It's because
she's so defensive.
Played. Yeah. Right. It's because she has been played. I have to tell you,
she's been hurt. And that's the thing that, again, 180 hours of therapy, because you don't recognize. I used to be so hard and I used to be mean because I thought it was the way I protected my heart. It was the way I protected myself to be mean.
Because what you not gonna do, ... Right?
And it was like, and people don't understand like our mental health as a woman, we endure so much. And it's like, oh, how much can she take? You my ride or die chick. I done rode and died. I ain't riding or dying for nobody but me, and I don't owe nobody shit but my daughter. She's the only, I brought her into this world. She ain't asked to come here. She's the only person that I owe anything. I do not owe my mother anything. I do not owe my brother anything. I do not owe my father anything. I owe my child. So it is me. I have to be here. And what I learned is that I had to do the work on myself.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do the work on myself to be in a better space mentally, because I needed to decide how I was going to show up as a black woman to set the example, to be the standard. Because if you watching, baby, let me make sure I give you a proper show. Okay. And in order for me to continue
seating.
And in order for me to continue to show up for other people, I had to be able to show up for myself. Yep. And as a mom, with the same type of day that you had, that you just explained that you had, driving an hour and a half to work, working all day, you stressed out at work, like, and they be like, "Oh, you get a break from the baby when you go to work." Work is not a break.
What do you mean?
Not a break.
What do you mean? The school is calling if she had one sniffle, one paper cut, if she fell, if she cried, if another kid did this to her. I'm getting emails. I'm getting texts.
It's all types of things. You are stressed out 24/7 while you are at work. Not to mention, depending on what type of job, because back then we all had the customer service jobs. They calling us on the phone, cussing us, slap out, whatever. So you're stressed out about that. Then you got to book it automatic. You get 30 minutes for lunch. You don't have no time to decompress. Like, you break down and you cry, like, and I remember, and I probably should have cried more back then when it was needed, just to get it out. And I say, our mental health was horrible, and that's why I'm so big on mental health now with people, my goal in the next year is to start my nonprofit, and it's going to be geared towards single moms, women, children, girls, specifically, to their education, equality, all of that, because there's still very much so a need for that. I want to teach single moms how to interview, what your resume needs to look like, how you need to show up, how to navigate corporate America, dealing with microaggressions from other people just because you are Black, because you are this type of person. I want you to understand that you, just because you came up this way, I don't want you to have to be like that. I don't want you to have to learn the hard way, because I did. I was just super blessed to come in contact with people that wanted to help me, that would show me differently. I want to be able to, I want you to, like, even though, because even in my outside of corporate work, I'm a makeup artist. You can't tell now because I ain't do my makeup, but I want to show you how to beat your face accurately. I want you to have that self-confidence. I love when a woman gets out my chair and when she looks in the mirror, she feels good about herself. I want you to, like, you know, I want that confidence to help you. Like, and that's something that a lot of women lack. Like, most people walking around faking the funk, but confidence is the thing that a lot of women lack.
Did my makeup for my engagement photos? I did not take it off. All I did was change the lipstick, and I said, look, new face. I sent you a picture. I said, look, all I did
was a new face. Who this? I was like,
listen, I had one shade of lipstick in the picture, and then that same night was my engagement dinner. All I did was change the lipstick to a red lipstick, and I was like, listen, I did not want to take that off. Even in my wedding photos, everybody was like, look at your brows. I was like, those brows are artists by Diva Boss.
I just work with what you got. I work with what my natural canvas have. And I wanted to understand that there's an unrealistic standard that women are held to, is an unrealistic standard of beauty out here. Well, in the world of plastic surgery and lip fillers and lasers, and like, we got texture in our skin, we got pores, we got wrinkles, we got lines, and we still bad. We get gray hair, our boobs might sag, we got little booties matter, big booties matter, everybody matters. You got stretch marks are beautiful. I brought life into this world. And like Cat Williams said, either stretch marks came from when you was small and got big, or was big and got small. Like, either way,
right? Either way.
I am a proud feminist. I want to see people win. If I have an opportunity to put you on, I'm going to put you on. I'm going to encourage you. I will kick you in your butt if you need it, and I will check and correct you. And I'm going to be unapologetic about it, but it doesn't have to be done in a nasty way. I want to support all my sisters. I want and even my white counterparts. Like, I want to see everybody win, because it's so much hate and negativity in the world. I feel like you have to be able to, be a light, light, and let people know it's okay. Hey, you good over here. This is a safe space.
Yeah. And I don't think people feel like that. I think especially when you profess to be a strong Black woman, you automatically are perceived in a negative light, which is
absolutely
why a lot of the times is not always like that. And it's because of stuff that we've had to go through.
Absolutely.
So just just like what you asked me, like, that was just one day. I had to do that every day. And then on Saturday and Sunday, it wasn't even necessarily a break either, because, it's like, I've been to work and I've had 5 long days. During the weekend, I just want to relax and just do.
Can't do that because you got to run after a little person.
But then you got to run after a little person. And then you also don't want, one thing that I thank my mother for is I don't have bad childhood memories, right? My mother used to always say I used to have a lot of fun as a kid, and I try to remember that when I've been raising Jasmine, try to make sure that she's a fun kid, and that she has sometimes she has too much fun because she decides to have her fun during class, and I get an email about it.
She's her mom's child, and she's going.
I get all kinds of emails about Jess. Well, I mean, she's my kid. So every time I tell to somebody, they're like,
she's your kid.
She's just like you. And I'm just like, first of all,
don't do that.
That's not helping me.
It's being real, though.
I know she's a mini me. What I'm trying to say is I need her to not be a mini me.
She can't help it, because Haven sometimes hate the school call, and Haven done said something to somebody or did something. I'd be like, God dang it. That is my child.
Listen.
And I can't fall. I'd be like, Muff, it's the time. So I have, because her nickname Muffin, but I call her Muff for short. Now she's getting older. I'd be like, Muff, I have to teach her it's a time and a place.
Yes.
That kind of thing. But I always had that question, about a mom and mental health, because even with me, I try to make sure I do have some bad childhood memories, and childhood trauma that I have to overcome. Me and my brother talk about it all the time. And, I tried to make sure, I got him in therapy as well, because, Black men, your mental health matters too. Please go talk to someone. Please do.
Yeah.
You know, I want everybody to be happy and healed. Absolutely. I agree with that.
King instead of empty throne.
Lord, bring on the kings.
Right.
Bring on the kings.
I've heard that your delivery is more important as well because we can come off as angry Black women. Yes.
That was a good one.
And
Who
that's,
said that?
again,
Raven? Was that Raven?
No, that was Brandy. Brandy.
Oh, Brandy.
And that is very true. That they coincide. The strong Black woman is usually angry, but a lot of people think that she's angry, and it's not necessarily the case. It's just that there's story
passion.
to tell.
We speak with passion. We speak with authority. We speak with directness. And if you perceive that to be anything other than that, because my dad was, you know what, the funny thing is my dad was loud. My mom and my dad was loud. I was just determined to be loud. And I remember I was like, Daddy, you always yelling. I ain't yelling. This is just how I talk. I'm passionate.
Yeah. That's how it is.
That was something I had to, like, that's something I'm still learning to work on, like my delivery. Because I can have the best intentions, but I'm such a direct person. I'm going to just say it. And when people are like offended, I just asked the question, why are you upset?
I'm not upset.
Like, are we being sensitive in your feelings?
Brandy saying the quiet part out loud. Angry Black woman, yeah, for real.
Yeah, you can't never cause conflict. And you know, the funny thing about it is I remember I had this old AVP at work. And you know, and this is when I first started going, when we first started going into talks of me about becoming into management. And you know, everybody was like, you can do this, we believe in you. And I didn't want to be the angry Black woman. And I didn't know how to tell this. I think she was like Spanish or something. I think she was white. Maybe she married a Spanish guy. I don't remember. Whatever. How I sit here and tell this white woman who don't look like me that I'm afraid to be a manager because I don't want to be the angry Black woman when I have to reprimand somebody, or when I don't agree with what with the policies and procedures that management is rolling down. And so I sat there and I was just like, I didn't say nothing for a minute. And she was like, I just want to say something and please don't take it the wrong way. I was like, okay. So I already knew when somebody tell you don't take it the wrong way, you already know they about to say some shit that's going to piss you off. And
right.
You the wrong way. So I was like, she was like, I know you probably feel like, how are you going to be heard and use your voice for the things that you want to talk about? And she was like, what I've noticed about you, Toya, is that you're a challenger. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm off defense mode now. Like, oh, I was like, you know what? That is a good way for me to say it. I am a challenger. Because I'm the type of person, I'm going to speak up if I see something wrong. If I don't like something that's happening, I'm going to say something. So,
I've been told that too, that I challenge people to.
I'm a challenger. She said, Toya, I welcome that in my managers. She's like, I welcome that in my managers, my management team. She's like, only thing that I ask you is that if you're going to be a challenger, come with some solutions. I said, okay. So now, again, that switched my mindset from being a challenge. I'm still a challenger, but now I'm all about solution-based. Like I'm solution-based with certain things. So if I spot something that is a need for something, I come up with something that I think would fix it, or, you know, like to fill the need. And, you know, and it's been working, you know, for me so far. That's all I can say. But it's okay to be a challenger, and you just position it in a certain way that it doesn't come off where you popping off and you correcting and checking. Because we all know we all can snap our neck and roll our eyes, snap these fingers with the best of them. And you know, I get my nails done faithfully, so I talk with my hands, and you gonna hear me, you gonna feel me. And like Tammy Roman said, I can talk with my hands, but you better not. Right. I'm gonna be threatened. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's all. But yeah, so I encourage all Black women, be a challenger. Anybody, be a challenger, but come with some solutions.
There you go. So we're gonna wrap this up. Toya, if you can describe or give your final thoughts on the myth of the strong Black woman, what would you say?
My thoughts on the myth of the strong Black woman is it's not a myth. We're strong because we have not been given a choice. We stand up because we have to. We are the backbone of the man, the black man, the family, the household. Like Bernadette held the company down for 20 years.
Listen,
we didn't have a choice. So that is the myth. So the myth is that we were given an option and we were not. That is that's how I feel about the myth of the strong black woman. We just didn't have an option. We had to be strong. Cause who else was gonna do it? Cause we the queens of I'ma just do it myself.
Okay, like I should put that on a shirt. You know, my shirt say "fuck it, I'll do it myself."
Yes, that's it.
Because a lot of the times it's been like that. My final thoughts is I'm gonna echo what you said. It really isn't a myth. We are strong black women. That is not to downplay any other type of woman. That is not to appear as if we're better than any other type of woman. Absolutely. But in certain situations where we have to profess that and make that known, it is usually because we have to defend ourselves in situations where people don't think we can survive and thrive, right? Because we are black women. We do get downplayed a lot. We don't always get the recognition that we deserve. There are things that we do well that other women do, and they get recognized for it. People call that appropriation, and a lot of the times we have to tell you who the originator is, and a lot of times that is
imitated, baby,
right? But
never duplicated.
And we have to make sure that that this is known so that we can get the stigma off of being the strong black woman, but also give people understanding as to where that comes from.
Right, where it came from. Agree.
Right. Sam wants to say thank you for the wonderful show. It was very insightful and informative. Thank you so much, Sam, for your input.
Thank you for participating, girl, because like you were definitely coming up with some great commentary and deliver some amazing segues. Like
Sam is good for that. Yeah, we bullied her into coming on screen before, so you know Sam is always good. Pop up, sis. What happened? I know we're gonna get you next time, Sam. But we want to say thank you so much, Toya. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. This was a great conversation.
You're welcome.
Always coming through for the kid.
I do what I can.
You know, always being here when I need you. Thank you for the dialogue, ladies. Excellent. You're welcome, best friend. Sorry you couldn't join us yourself, but next time. Again, we want to thank Facebook Live, YouTube, iHeart, Blackjack, Zingle TV. I want to give a shout out to the guys podcast, Sean, my cousin, Hyson, Merv, Mark, Tina B, Tyson. There's so many of you guys that have watched us, and we definitely thank you so much for taking your time out of your Sunday night to watch us. Don't forget to tune in again. I'm not sure exactly which shows we're doing this week because it is a holiday week, but you'll definitely be able to watch us anytime you want on YouTube and Facebook. So again, thank you, Toya. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to keep you here for a minute, but I'm going to log off the live for a minute and say thank you again so much, everyone. Good night, happy holidays, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Bye. Bye.